So I was saying
Hi.
What's up?
How's it going?
You have joined us at Blinco's Sports Bar and Restaurant. I'm Joe Ovius.
I'm Chris Clark. Glenwood Avenue in Raleigh, by the way.
It's a good spot for the wings. Yes. And actually, what we're having today is a Cottonwood pumpkin beer. Nothing says. Actually, Kelly.
Yeah.
Could you
I don't wanna be on the internet.
No, you have to be on the internet because we need another beer.
Okay.
So if we can get two more,
I can do two more.
it'd be absolutely fantastic.
Pumpkin?
Thank you, pumpkin.
Not a
Yeah,
problem.
it's the Cottonwood pumpkin. It's a little nip in the air, wouldn't you say, Chris?
I would say you're making us sound like incredible beer snobs.
We are beer snobs. There's no other way around it. Sorry. Anyway, so that's that.
Blinco's also serves their red, white, and wiser for review of the domestic taste.
So anyway, last week, again, we're decent with our picks, but we're not exactly setting the world on fire. We have yet to go perfect.
Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because we're morons.
True, but are we bigger morons than the guy who missed the field goal at Chapel Hill this past Saturday?
I don't know, Joe. We'll let the viewers of the Video Blog podcast judge for themselves. Cue up the tape.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
How do you miss that one?
That is unfortunate. You can't do that.
Our Jackass of the Week is definitely going to have to be the officials at the UNC-UVA game.
Hands down, man. How does that happen? And then how does Butch Davis go? He goes caveman lawyer on us. Right? Like, well, I'm just a simple man. I don't know the rules completely. I'm not familiar with all the review calls yet. Okay, I don't blame you, Butch. Frankly, I didn't know you could review a field goal either. But hey, what do you know? It can happen. The ACC agreed with the officials. They got the call right. Regardless, the Tar Heels shouldn't have fumbled the ball a bunch of times. But anyway, we move on because there's a bigger story from past weekend. Duke wins.
How about that?
They tore down their own goalpost. About 300 kids showed up to tear down their goalpost. It was weak.
But in any situation in which you don't have a lot of experience at tearing down goalposts, there was an injury. Fortunately, one student who was clonked on the head with a piece of the goalpost, not severely injured. Duke, practice a little bit before the next time. Maybe work with some tackling sleds.
Here's what I don't get, Chris. This is the same school that produced the beer launching robot. This guy was able to create a machine that tossed the beer to you on your couch. It's not like you had to get up. Can't do this for a goalpost?
It's in the works.
Okay, hopefully. That's tremendous.
That's what we're
Thank
talking
you.
about.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
I love Blinkos at football season.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it? So, Chris, I think it's time we made some picks.
I like making picks,
Let's do this.
mostly because I don't care if we're right or not. Our first game.
Our listeners don't either.
Yeah, well, it's good because we're not right a lot.
No.
First game this week, we're going to look at North Carolina and South Florida. The Tar Heels visiting South Florida, which is, oddly enough, not located in South Florida. More like Central Florida, Tampa. Tar Heels are going to go down and face former Duke coach Carl Franks, currently the running backs coach and one of the recruiting coordinators for the Bulls. They're getting it done. They've already beaten Auburn in overtime. In Auburn.
Also keep in mind that the Tar Heels lost to South Florida at Keenan this past season. Wasn't a very pretty game, and I guess this is the rubber match. Maybe the Heels got some revenge on their minds. Maybe they don't. I'm not so sure. Who do we got?
We're going to go with South Florida 24-13. Big East football kicking the ACC's butt yet again.
That's karma for you right there. The Big East actually being a better football power right now than the ACC. Coming up next, who we got?
Going to the SEC, the big game, the old ball coach taking on Les Miles. South Carolina visiting LSU. I like South Carolina. I think the old ball coach, every time he wins, it brings a little bit of joy to my heart. Frankly, this is not going to be one of those times. We're going to go with LSU because they're arguably the best team in the country.
You can ask Virginia Tech. They'll tell you they're the best team in the country right now. Maybe USC is the equal, but I don't know. Right now, I'm really feeling the Tigers. Go. How do they spell that? How do they spell it? Go Tigers, right?
Geaux.
Go Tigers.
Zyx. I don't understand. You Cajun people, you're a little bit strange. You frighten me,
It's-
but I like your football.
It's the crazy moonshine. What's up next?
Textile Bowl, we're bringing it back to Raleigh as NC State's taking on Clemson. We're
Tammy
going
Bowden in the house.
Tommy Bowden, 16-14. We like the Tigers at Carter Finley.
You notice how Tommy Bowden called out Lloyd Carr earlier in the week. It's not like the Tigers did a fantastic job against Furman in the past week. In fact, the Furman Paladins did a better job passing the ball, outgained them, I think, totally. I mean, for total yardage, they outgained the Tigers. In response to that, Tommy Bowden said, well, I got something that Lloyd Carr doesn't. That's a win over a Division I AA school. Don't be talking the smack, Tommy. Last time I checked, you still don't have a national championship ring. Last time I checked, you haven't finished better than 5-3 in the ACC. So before we start talking some smack about Lloyd Carr, who, again, I understand is not having a very good year this year, why don't you win something before you start talking the smack? Am I wrong in thinking that?
Dude, his team beat the 1AA squad. He's allowed to say whatever he wants.
All right, I guess you have a point.
Sadly,
You have a
Tommy
point.
Bowden decided to recant some of his statements and lessen the blow against Lloyd Carr. It's too bad, but understandable. You got to get along, especially at the fraternity meetings.
What we got next, Chris?
Next game, East Carolina taking on West Virginia in Morgantown. East Carolina put up a great game against Virginia Tech to start the season. They've had to play an in-state rival in North Carolina who they beat, a conference rival in Southern Mississippi who they lost to. It's not exactly easing into the year. West Virginia, really good team. I like them a lot. And they're beating the Pirates by a score of 28-14.
I don't think it's any shock that you go West Virginia. ECU had a golden opportunity against Southern Miss in their Conference USA standings, but they dropped that one. Still, I think Skip Holtz has got things going in the right direction. Just that West Virginia is one of the best teams in the country this year, and they'll be rolling along. What do we got next?
We're going back down south to the SEC because, frankly, it's a better conference, and we like talking about good football. Alabama hosting Georgia this weekend. Mark Richt a little bit afraid someone's stealing his signs.
Ooh, no. Bill Belichick in the house?
Saban is from the Belichick family tree.
I got to look out for that.
He doesn't have to steal signs because Bama's a better team than Georgia, and we're going with the Crimson Tide, 23-21.
Does that say cue the clip?
Yes, it does say cue
What
the clip.
clip could you be talking about?
I think we're talking about this one.
Oh, God, we love him! Woo! Yeah, we ballin', baby, we ballin'.
You think we've been drinking? Ooh, you haven't had enough drinks like she had a lot of drinks. That's all I'm saying. We got a ways to go when it comes to that.
If I weren't in a steady relationship, I would totally call that girl.
Are you? No, come on. I thought you had standards. He has no answer for it. Anyway, that's going to wrap up another week for this edition of Low Rent Sports Talk Theater. Although I think this week, Chris, we definitely classed it up a bit. We're at Blinco Sports Bar and Restaurant. We got the wings. We got the pumpkin ale, which makes us complete beer snobs. I think I'm going to have to follow this up with a Miller High Life. What do you think?
The champagne of beers never does you wrong, kids.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.